Hello and welcome to my first video vlog. My name is Neil Bergenroth and I am essentially Power 10 Development LLC. Um, I wanted to start to record some of my experiences making the two apps that I've created. But I want to give you a little bit of background before I do that. I am a chemistry teacher in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I work at a school called Holland Hall, and I've been in the chemistry classroom, well, in the science classroom about 20 years now, and have taught chemistry for about 15 of that. And then 5 years of that, I was actually in the 8th grade classroom. And so I, I've really been always very interested in technology and programming. I've spent many years programming websites, using earlier on I was using ASP.NET and learning how to create websites that are database driven. And then took a little bit of a break from that and focused on some other things. And then about a couple of years ago, I've been a rowing coach for a long time, and I stepped down from that for a number of reasons. Some to balance life and to also to just kind of take the stress off a little bit. I've had two operations, two ablations for AFib, and so I just had to slow down a little bit. But I started to, pick up programming again as a hobby, and I started to get really interested in programming apps for phones. Mobile app development wasn't something that I'd had a lot of experience with. So I asked the school if they would cover the expense of allowing me to learn iOS, iPhone development, and they agreed. And so about 18 months ago, I started with a video course, and so this is a bit of a shout out. I actually purchased the beginner's programming course and the intermediate programming course from a website called Code with Chris. And Chris is really, really helpful, and he has about 4 or 5 projects in his beginner's class, and he has about 4 projects in his intermediate class. And so even though I'd programmed before, really programming in the iPhone Xcode environment was something that was really new to me. And so I just started to learn. And initially it was really, really challenging. It was a strange environment, and I was initially really struggling with it. But slowly but surely I kept coming back and taking more lessons, and then started to understand how iPhone apps are programmed in Xcode, and really started to develop a passion for developing that. And so one of the projects that was in Code with Chris was a quiz app, and it was a simple quiz app that read a JSON file. But I thought it would be really neat to kind of take that quiz app. And one of the nice things about Code with Chris is that he's given us, those students, the rights to use the code and modify and make them into other different apps. And so what I did was I took the quiz app and I made it and I expanded it, and I managed to get it to talk to one of my databases, which is full of questions for chemistry. And so I wanted to create an app for my students that they could use that would help them test where their knowledge was on the various different things that we study in class. And then I came across ARKit, and ARKit is Apple's way of putting augmented reality development into the hands of the developers. Augmented reality has been around for a while, but as soon as I saw the power of loading a model into an iPhone app and being able to move around that model, I thought the applications for chemistry were really endless. And so I started to build my second app, which is Chemistry AR, and and really sort of develop that. I started with atoms and building the Bohr model of the atom so that you could, see how many 2 electrons in the first energy level and 8 electrons in the next energy level and so forth. And so I continued to do that. But also I was really interested in developing VS-EPR models, valence shell electron pair repulsion. One of the things that my kids really struggle with, some of them, is trying to visualize these structures in 3D. And if you've ever taught chemistry before, it's kind of a tricky thing because the central atom sometimes has 2 other atoms attached to it. Sometimes they have 3, sometimes they have 4, and then they can have 5 and 6. And the shapes become more complex, and you need to know some geometry to figure out what the bond angles are between them. And I saw Chemistry AR as an opportunity to build these models and put that app in the hands of teachers and students so that they could visualize these models a little bit more. And then I started playing with periodic trends. So I've got, in the current version of Chemistry AR, I've got a periodic table that is generated, and then above each element in the periodic table, a sphere that represents the atomic size or atomic radii of that particular element, so that you can really see the different sizes of the atoms. And so, I'm continuing to develop the app, and but I just wanted to talk a little bit about my journey as a developer. There have been times when it's been really, really frustrating. A lot of late nights. I'm sure those of you that are programmed before have an appreciation for how challenging it can really be. But I would just say that if you just keep coming back to the table and you keep persevering, my wife always tells me that I'm batting 1,000 on any programming issue that I've ever come across, and it's true. It may have taken me some time, but I've always figured out how to do what I want to do. So this is my first blog or vlog on my app development. I'd love to hear from you in terms of what you'd like to see in a chemistry app. My heart on this is to develop an augmented reality chemistry app for teachers and students to use at the high school level, maybe the college level, the middle school level. And so just continuing to work on it. In the next version, I'm going to have an electronegativity table, an Aufbau diagram, and I'm currently working on modeling S, P, D, and F orbitals and learning how to generate those in a program called Blender. So that's where I am at the moment. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll put other updates out and show videos of the different things that are in Chemistry AR. Chemistry AR is now available in the App Store, as is my quiz app. It's called General Chemistry Quiz. So if you search for those things, General Chemistry Quiz is free, and Chemistry AR costs a little bit. But I hope you find it worth it. So I'd love to hear from you if you've got any comments, or I'd love to hear about your own programming journey, or just talk about and get feedback on whatever it is you're working on. I just kind of want to be a part of the community. So thank you for tuning in, and I just kind of wanted to just say hello. So there you go, end of my first vlog, and I'll see you in the next video.